Okay, so you're going to run into situations where you've got prime candidates that want to get involved in tax-free retirement. Just so full disclosure, I am a big believer in tax-free retirement because that's how I'm retiring. By the time I don't even know what retirement means. I'm not really, like a lot of my classmates, my academy classmates, they're in the process of retiring now. I'm 60, I've got some that are already retired. The question always comes up for me, so Alex, when are you gonna call it quits? And it's like, do what? I am so kind of hooked in building my business and serving you all that I just don't know what that means. I envision my building guitars is what I envision. And I envision spending half the year in Venice, living in Venice. And I think building guitars in Venice would be awesome. That's kind of if I had to think about what does that mean. So, but I have a tax-free retirement program. We're looking at about $500,000 a year for the rest of my life. Me and Jenny, she's got hers. So $500,000 a year is not bad, is it? For a tax-free retirement, the government can't get their grubby hands on our income. And we got humongous amounts of life insurance to give our kids. So, am I a believer? You betcha I'm a believer. I also believe in index universal life for tax-free retirement. Gotta have my coffee, man, my coffee and cream. So, so that's full disclosure. I believe in it. So I think if it's good enough for me and my family, it might be good enough for you. Might be good enough for people that you know. I mean, the bottom line is, do you want to pay taxes on your retirement or not? You have a choice, okay? And by the grace of God, we got hooked up properly and our program's rocking. I mean, it's really rocking. The amount of cash value that's grown in there is just way ahead of schedule. I mean, so you're talking to a believer in it. So let me kind of give you the concept of universal life, because I can't teach tax-free retirement unless we talk about the vehicle that we're using, which is index universal life. Now, we talked about indexing, the power of indexing on our last call with that video. So the power of indexing. I mean, if you don't understand the power of indexing, then you need to watch that video again. I sent it out, okay? Alex, what video are you talking about? I email blasted it out, the one on the Nikkei index going down over a 20-year period, that if you had your money in an index product and the market went down, up and down, steadily over 20 years, when it went down, you're still going to make a lot of money. So that's the power of indexing. So I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about kind of concepts related to index universal life in general, okay? And feel free to chat, questions. I'm going to really try to keep it simple, but it's not I just want you to understand the moving parts involved in universal life. And I've got a really, I got a 2-hour video on this. I'm going to try to boil it down to like 15 minutes, okay? So when someone buys an index universal life policy, yeah, we're going to do XY chart. That's a little tilted. Yeah, I'm one of those guys that fixes frames that are tilted. Okay, so when someone buys a universal life policy, first of all, what they're buying is they're buying life insurance, okay? So let's say, just simple, $100,000, okay? That's the death benefit. And so let's say they start at age, I don't know, 40. Okay. What they're buying is a cost of insurance. Okay. So the first thing they're buying is this life insurance death benefit of $100,000. Oh, okay. So they're buying a $100,000 death benefit. And so a universal life, you're buying the cost of insurance over time. So the cost of insurance for a 40-year-old, let's say it's for $100,000, the cost of insurance, let's just say it's $25. Okay, then 41, it goes up to, $26. And so every year the cost of insurance goes up. Okay, age 65. So you're buying a cost of insurance that goes up over time. Okay, it's like similar to an annual renewable term. So the older you get, the more it's going to cost to buy this line of insurance for $100,000. Okay. So let's just take it to 65. It'll go, really, it starts doing this to age 100. Okay. 120. It starts going super high, right? Actually, looks more like it'll be an asymptotic line of cost of insurance. Okay. So 100,000. So let's say at age 65, the cost of insurance for 100,000 to maintain $100,000 death benefit over time. Now the cost of insurance at age 65 might be $300. Age 100, it goes up to, let's say it's $800 a year. It's probably more than that, but let's say it's $800 a year. Okay, for 100,000. So you're buying $100,000 of life insurance. So that's your cost of insurance. Okay, so if you want to maintain, so what is Index Universal Life? What is it really designed to do as a life insurance product? It's designed to put money into a cash account. So let's say they're paying $300 a month, okay, for their premium. So their premium is $300 a month, right? So the difference, this $275 difference every year is going into cash value. So this is it starts off being cash value 275. All right. Now, if they want to maintain 100,000 the entire time, death benefit, so this cash value that they're putting in, it decreases over time because the cost of insurance goes up. But the cash value that every year, this cash value goes into earning an indexed interest rate. So let's say that, point to point, whatever, let's say the interest rate averages 6%. So the cost of insurance, because they're paying $300, okay? So notice what happens is from what they're paying $300, this amount here is cash value that goes into a cash account that grows. And so what happens is, while the cost of insurance goes up, the cash value goes up like this too. So at the point where the cost of insurance starts being more than what the premium is, so let's say like here we said is 300, so it's equal. But let's say down here at age 75, the cost of insurance now is, let's say it's $400 a month. So what happens to that $100 difference? That $100 difference in the premium is taken out of the cash value that grows. You know, this cash value is taken out of the cash value to pay for the increase in premiums. So that's really what this is designed to do, is that the cash value that you pay, that you're paying over the cost of insurance, right, goes into funding the gap, this gap that's right here. Because the percentage or the cost of insurance goes up, all this cash value is there to pay for the cost of insurance, plus you're going to have more over the cost of insurance with the additional cash value that you can borrow against, okay, etc. Okay, and this is assuming that you maintain $100,000 of life insurance over time, okay? This is called option B, where you've got an increasing death benefit. So when, for example, the cash value, say right here, if the cash value is, let's say it's 50,000, then you're going to have 150,000 in death benefit, okay? So what you're doing is you're paying this increase in cost of insurance for 100,000 throughout the whole time, then all the cash value is on top of that. So maybe here at age 75, your cash value is, you know, might be, you know, 200,000, right? And your death benefit is still 100,000. So should you die and not use the cash value for anything, your heirs are going to get, your beneficiary are going to get 300,000 total. Okay, when you, let's say you took out 50,000 in tax-free loans, then the death benefit is going to reduce to, you know, 150, 250,000. Okay, so they're going to get, they're going to pay the loans off first, and then they're going to give the rest of that, the death benefit plus whatever's left of cash value to your kids. Okay, so this is what we call option B, when you're paying that amount of insurance over time. And that's why the cost of insurance goes up, because it's related to the amount of death benefit. Okay, so this is option B, maintaining that 100,000. Okay, so let's change the scenario and let's do option A, which is what most people choose. I'm not going to get into the combination where you change it, because that's kind of, that's a little bit advanced, but. Okay, so that's option, let's talk about option A. Okay, so now that you understand the cost of insurance, okay, let's stick with our 100,000 death benefit. So this will illustrate kind of some of the moving parts. So age 40, 65, 100. So this is option A, where the cost of insurance is reduced by the cash value that grows. So let's go to our $300 a month premium. And let's say the cost of insurance at age 40 is 25. Okay. And the client option A means it's going to be 100,000 death benefit throughout the whole thing, right? So here's what happens. Okay. You've got a cost of insurance line that starts at age 40. Okay. So this, as I mentioned, this 275 goes into cash value, right? So then age 41, this cash value becomes part of what gets paid out in insurance So even though the cost of insurance per 1,000 goes up, the amount of insurance, let's just say the second year, is now less than 100,000. The amount of cost of insurance that you're paying for, I'm just, it's going to be 97,700. Okay, because part of this cash value is part of the death benefit now, and so you're paying less for the amount of cost of insurance for 97,700. Okay, and then as this cash value continues to earn interest rate, let's say it's 6%, every year the cash value grows. So every year the cash value grows. Okay, the amount of insurance that you're paying for decreases to maintain the death benefit. So let's smooth it out a little bit. So now that this is the death benefit, the net death benefit, and this is the cash value that grows. And so let's say down here at age 50, the cash value is, let's say 50,000. The amount of insurance, I'm sorry. Yes. 50,000 cash value. Here, the amount of insurance you're paying for is 50,000. So at age 50, when this person dies, the benefits to the beneficiary is 100,000 total. 50,000 is in the cash value, and 50,000 is in life insurance. Okay, so the cost continues to decrease because the amount of insurance you're funding goes down. Okay, you see how that works? The cash value goes up. So let's say it's age 65. The cash value at age 65 now is, let's say it's 90,000. Then 10,000 is going to be the insurance, the life insurance part. Okay, so here's what happens. What happens when you start getting closer to this point here? There's a thing called the corridor of insurance. It's a life insurance product. So you always have to maintain a minimum amount of life insurance because it's a life insurance product. You don't want this to be taxed by the IRS. You're always buying life insurance. So let's say the corridor is always 10,000 above the cash value, right? So this is where you can see cash value can start, let's say the cash value goes to 125,000 cash value. You got to have the 10,000 corridor. So now you got 135,000, which is the life insurance and the cash value. And so this is where you see in an illustration where the amount of insurance that's received is beyond the amount of cash value that grew in it, right? So this is called option A, where part of the death benefit is the cash value that grows, okay? And the reason why this works really well is because the amount of insurance out here, when you're like 80 years old, you're just funding the cost of insurance for $10,000, not $100,000, right? And you're thinking, well, that's not fair. I mean, okay, then do option B, okay? Option B maintains 100,000 all the way through. And even here, if there's 125,000, there's 100,000. See what I'm saying? Like I said before. And then cash value, you're taking loans out of here for tax-free retirement, right? So that's, without spending more time on this, does this make any sense to anybody? Do you see how the different parts move? What's marching along on option A is you're maintaining the death benefit and you're earning in the cash value the growth of the death benefit, where your death benefit decreases, the cost decreases, then your cash value starts rocking. You're able to put more in the cash value, which then compounds with the interest rate. Okay, so those are the moving parts. You've got the cost of insurance every year that you're buying, right? And it's funded because it's cost more because you're aging more. So like I said, the cost of insurance at 40 is 25. At 50, it might be 65 per thousand. By 65, it might be 150 per thousand. But because you're decreasing the total amount of insurance you're paying for every year, it allows the cash value to grow and grow and grow. Okay, so this is option A. Okay. All right, so let me talk about what tax-free retirement is in the context of someone who's not as concerned about death benefit, but they are more concerned about tax-free retirement. So the game you're trying to play in tax-free retirement is what's the lowest amount of insurance to get the highest return. Back here when I'm trying to take the money out, right? So what is the strategy? If you already know what the cost of insurance is doing, are you going to want the most insurance you can get, or are you going to want the least insurance you can get, right? Which one? Someone chat at me. Do you want the most cost, or you want the least cost so you can have your cash value grow? I know I'm kind of leading.
With the least. The least.
Was that the least? Okay, good. Someone said it. So you want to minimize the death benefit and maximize how much the cash value, how much you can put in. So the game is, again, let's go back to, I'd like to have $100,000 at least for my family at the end, but I want to put as much as I can in it. And the insurance, the IRS limits what you could put in it. It's called the 7-pay rule. And they calculate in 7 years, what's the max you can put in it so it doesn't become a taxable program, right? So they limit what you can put in it, over these years. So what you want to do is you want to maximize the cash value. So let's say the cost of insurance, again, is $25. I want to put in 500, right? I want to do option A because I don't want to continue to pay, right? So all this goes into cash value. So this amount that I'm putting in, let's say it's 6% on average on an index, okay? This amount of money compounds over time and grows, okay? And so by the time you're 65, you stop paying and the cash value does this, the insurance quarter does this. And so your cash value, let's say it is 100,000. And then you start taking policy loans out to, let's say age 85 when the life expectancy. So you're taking out the cash value. And because you grew so much cash value, you're taking out, let's say, 8,000 a year tax-free, to supplement whatever your other retirement, Social Security and whatever pensions and whatever. Okay. So, and the reason why the rule 72 with this, because the interest rate's not fixed and the amount of insurance, the amount of cash you can get back becomes pretty crazy. So again, let's cut to how do we how do we do an illustration? The illustration is what really guides you. Like this is kind of the details, right? And I don't, just as long as you understand the concept of how can I minimize my death benefit? How can I maximize my cash value to get me the payout that I'm looking for? Okay. Now, let me just say one thing, because all you insurance agents are always concerned about commission. Okay. You're only paid on target premium, and target premium, what affects target premium is life insurance, the life insurance you're purchasing. Okay. So if you got a client who wants to max out what they could put into it, and you're all fired up because they're putting $500 a month into the policy, that's $6,000 a year, and you're, oh man, I'm gonna make a ton of money. You're not gonna be paid on $6,000 because the target premium might be more like $4,000. Okay, because remember, the target premium is based on the amount of insurance. And if they're trying to maximize what's going to cash value, you're only going to get paid on target. This is across the board. I don't care if it's Allianz, I don't care if it's F&G Life, I don't care if it's Columbus Life. They only pay on target. Well, Alex, how can I maximize my target? Well, they have to buy more life insurance. But don't they want more cash value at the end? Well, yeah. So why would you want to? Are you doing it just because you want to make more money? Now, there are ways, okay? There are ways to bump up target premium for the benefit of the client, okay? And this is Insurance 404. Part of it is, the funding part of it is like $500 a month, but at the end, if you want to fund where they can get max benefit, they start dumping in several thousands of dollars in the end. This is called backloading. And when you can backload it, then the target premium goes up on the front end and you're going to get paid more. But you got to set your client up to back fund an IUL for tax-free retirement. So it's a really cool thing. I think Jeff's going to talk about that next week at this same time about back funding an IUL. And that's how you increase target premium for the client's benefit. Okay, but just straight up know that you're only going to get paid on target, man, and it's on the first year. Okay, so just so no one gets all crazy when you see someone say, "Well, I wrote a $25,000 annual premium IUL," they probably got paid, on about 18,000 or 16,000, depending on how much overfunded it is, right? So I just want to make that clear, but there is ways to increase the target premium for the client's benefit, not by arbitrarily increasing the death benefit, but putting together a funding program where they load the back end with a boatload of money, especially if they've got money in other retirement planning vehicles, and then they throw that money in on the back end of an IUL, man, then their IUL starts rocking on steroids. And then your target premium year one is going to be higher, a lot higher. Okay, but again, we can talk about that next week.
Hey, Alex, this is Don. Suppose I got a younger couple, they're looking for insurance needs. They're interested in IULs, but their insurance needs are more along the lines, let's say, of 200,000 right now, but in 10 years from now, it won't be, and we could drop the face amount. Is that allowable on this program, or what's the procedure, or how does that work?
You can drop the death benefit down, which then drops the cost of insurance down, which then allows more of their money that they're putting in to go into cash value.
All right, so they can keep, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So there are ways that you can drop. That's the beauty of an IUL, is it's flexible. You can drop the death benefit down.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, that's one thing that's one of the things that we can do.
So they could drop the face amount and still back end load this at the same time?
No, because of the IRS rules.
Okay.
It makes it faster. So the whole back end, ending of it really dependent on having a higher life death benefit up front
Oh, okay, I see.
to
All
give
right.
you the room to put it in later on in the policy.
All right. Would they automatically adjust the death benefit if they wanted to put more in?
They can go up, but they have to go through
Underwriting?
underwriting.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew you'd be interested, Vin, on doing the back end funding. I'm not going to talk about that now. 'Cause,
Okay, that's
like,
fine.
you guys are like, remember, this is like, we're trying to stay, one-on-one, IUL one-on-one. The back funding, that's a whole concept. Jeff is the one, like, in order to understand IUL, you have got to know how to run an illustration, man. It's not that hard. Remember we talked about getting better in the business, like getting smarter, right? You have got to start working on this stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? You've got to. Okay, I'm going to get off that because then I'll start getting mad. Because it's just mediocrity, like pure and simple mediocrity, man. If you just don't want to get to become a professional in the business, you're armed with a life insurance license. Now it's time to step your game up, man, and become more valuable to your clients. Okay. So let's do an example. Okay, calm down, Alex. Breathe, breathe. Okay. So let's take a 40-year-old male. Let's call it TFR, tax-free retirement. And so the product we like is Pathsetter, F&G. We like that one a lot. I'll show you Columbus Life is cool too. The Columbus Life product, super easy to illustrate. They really make it, all these guys make it super easy. Why? Because they want you to write some serious insurance, man. So very simple. So you got your client. I always illustrate at standard health. If they get better than standard health, then they're going to have more cash. Okay, their cost of insurance is going to be lower. So I just baseline it always at standard health rating. And then I choose max accumulation and income. So it's give me choices. Okay. So I want to solve for face value. And then I want to fund it monthly. So let's put in $750 a month. I mean, look, man, they're probably putting stuff in a stupid 401k. They're probably doing like 9% in their stupid 401k, deferring taxes. What did I say last time, man? This costs them more in paying the taxes in the future, that even with the matching, they could do better with an IUL. So I'm just gonna, I mean, what, 10%? They should be at least saving 10% of their income, right? So let's say this is only 5% of their income. I'm gonna put 750. So 10 years. Okay, so we're gonna put another 750. We're gonna put it in till 65, okay? Yes, I am interjecting my biasness here. Okay, so we're gonna zero these out. Yeah. I can do this. There we go. Okay, so they're paying that until retirement monthly, $750. That's $9,000 a year. Okay, they start taking at age 65, and let's just take it through age 90. It's going to go way beyond. I mean, we can't show it way beyond, but we can't show as much cash value. So, 85 is really, so it's really 20 years. Let's put 20 years. And the 7702, it just means that it gives them more, allows them to put more money into it. Okay. See how simple that is? Start at age 65, go for 20 years. We specify the premium. We put face amount, because we really kind of don't care as much about face amount. We're going to get a good face amount. Don't get me wrong. If they want more, we'll show them more. Okay. So let's calculate the results. Oops. Yeah, this is kind of weird. Change this. This has this quirk. I don't know why it does this. It's just the weirdest thing to me. Okay. Calculate results. So they put 9,000 in, so they're getting about 48,000 a year tax-free retirement through age 85. Okay. So let's show you what that illustration, like the full-blown illustration, what that looks like. Okay, so the cool thing about PathSetter, it has living benefits. So they're going to get the chronic illness, critical, depending on state. Most states have chronic, critical, terminal. So it acts like a really nice long-term care style policy if they become sick. So we're illustrating at 7.54% because that's the average of the annual point-to-point S&P 500 in the last 20 years. So they're projecting it for the future. So you see the death benefit is 506, 646. They're paying 9,000 per year. Okay, so you can see here at the end of year 10, they put 90,000 in, and their account value is 86,994. So they're not quite broken even yet. Okay, but again, it's the compounding of the cash value and the decreasing amount of insurance per year because the cash value is going up. So notice, account value is 86,934. You subtract that from that 505,646, and that's the actual amount of insurance that they're paying for, which is lower than the full 50, it's like 86,000 lower, right? So it gives more money to be able to compound. So let's go at the end of year 20, they put in 180,000. Check this out. Now they've got 290,000. Now, I don't know about you, you can't call this an investment, but when you put 180,000 into something, and then you have 290,000 to show for it, okay, you tell me what that is. I'm not going to call it an investment. I just call it plus income, right? 290. You're like over 100,000 ahead of what you put in. You calculate the rate of return on that. But you also have a death benefit. If you're comparing it to a bank account that you're putting money into a bank account, you tell me what the rate of return is on that with zero death benefit. Like seriously, man, you put 190,000 and you die without taking a dime out, your family is going to get 505,000. Tell me what that return is. That's over 100%. So how does the rule of 72 work with this? Put a value on death benefit. Death benefit's tax-free, by the way. Anyway, you can see I get fired up about IULs, man. Well, yeah, and it could be in probate. That bank account could be in probate, unless you do a transfer.
Not with the will,
Was that?
not with the will.
So now you start taking money out at age 66. The most you put into this after 25 years is $225,000. You started taking $48,000 tax-free at age 70. You've received the benefit of $242,000 so far of tax-free retirement, which is more than covered what you paid, and you have the death benefit of $501,000. So let's say you continue to live at age 80. Again, what you put in is $225,000, but the benefit of $726,000 of tax-free retirement plus a death benefit of $236,000 when you die. Now you do the multiplier on that. Is that like 3 times? That's more than 3 times by my calculation. What's 3 times what you put in? 300%? So tell me what rule of 72 that is. No taxes. I know I'm being a little bit sarcastic. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, man, why do you think I have my money tied up in IULs? You know, you don't got to be a rocket scientist to understand this, man. Look, age 85, but Alex, what if they outlive 85? Man, I can illustrate this where it can go to age 120 if you want the lifetime thing, but, you know, more likely, you know, yeah, if they got longevity in their family, I'll illustrate to age 90, right? And it'll still be, even if I illustrate to age 90, it might be $42,000 a year of tax-free retirement. Does this make sense? Does this indicate any kind of value to the client? But you got to tell them, but look, it doesn't start rocking until down here. That's why you need what? He's got 25 years he's paid into it, okay? Does this work for y'all? Does this make sense? Anyone have any questions on the illustration? I love illustrations. I love explaining it to them. Now let's talk about target premium, because you're all like, man, I'm gonna make a whole bunch of money on $9,000. You're not gonna make it on $9,000. Let's go to where it talks about the target premium. I know you're depressed, you're sad. Target premium $7,063.87. You know, it's a couple thousand less, right? But that's what you get paid on. Okay. So that's that. Let me show you Columbus Life. This is actually almost as easy, if not easier. Columbus Life, they get a lot of people writing IULs for tax-free retirement. So they try to make it super easy for you. So let's create illustration. You see, I've kind of played with it already. Create new client. Oops, hold on. Okay, you guys can see that, right? Let me go back. Okay, so I logged into the Columbus Life website, and then I went to illustrations. I'll write business, illustrations, which takes me to this page. Launch the web version. You can actually download on your computer. Okay, then create illustration. I'm going to do this all over again. I got a bunch of Joe Smiths in here. $10, $26, $18.80. How much time? Okay, I've got 5 minutes. That's plenty of time, man. Mail. Next. Ohio. Universal Life. So we do Index Explorer Plus. You got Explorer Plus with the IUL, but the index version is this. This is the one that Jeff does, who's the #5 producer in all of Columbus Life in the country. So it tells you, man, he likes his product. So standard, I do standard health rating. This is cool. Click on max cash flow. So it's going to make a bunch of assumptions. And so we're going to change some of the assumptions to monthly. And let's go $750 a month. Okay. So it'll go 65 to 85. You can change that. But we're going to keep everything the same. And I think it's going to do S&P 500 annual point to point, just like it's the same index that F&G is using for their default. So that's easy. Like I just changed how much they put in. I clicked on max cash flow. So let's preview the illustration. See how easy it is? So simple, so simple. Okay, so let me share the illustration. Okay, so this is the illustration. They've got the riders on here as well. I mean, you should do illustrations just to read the illustration. I mean, that'll teach you a lot about the IULs. Talks about crediting. This will explain a ton of stuff to you, man. Okay, so it defaults to S&P 500, capped annual point-to-point, index account 100%. And this is kind of the historic, it's where they come up with this I think it illustrates at 6.86%, which is lower than we did 7-something%. So this is not going to show as much cash in the future, only because we bring it down to be more whatever, I guess, more conservative, I guess you'd say. I guess you'd be more red as opposed to, anyway. Disability credit rider, accidental death, terms other terms, supplemental coverage, accelerated death benefit, rider for terminal illness. Okay, so let's just keep going. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, so you see 9,000 a year. The death benefit is 498,163, which is lower than the other. Again, this is a maximization solve. You want to maximize the cash in the future, illustrated at 6.45%, not the 7-something%. So it's going to be lower. So 9,000, 9,000, age 60 up to age 65. And then you start taking 39,552 out at age 66. You cease, so it's a little bit lower. The death benefit is a little bit lower, but it's still a benefit. So look, by the time you get to age 85, you've put 225,000, 791,000 in total benefit. Again, you know, more than three times what you put in, tax-free, right? And all the fees in this vehicle are the cost of insurance and other minor fees, which typically, you know, because you're getting life insurance with this, you know, it's hard to, you can compare it to IRA, but it's got the benefit, the death benefit part of it, you know, so that's why it blows it away. I don't know what the target, I know it's got to show target premium in here. These are the costs. See if I can find the target premium. I'm not as familiar with this illustration, but I suspect the target premium is going to be, again, right around 8,000. Let's see if I can find it. It's got to be in here somewhere. I know as life insurance agents, like, man, when am I going to get paid on it? I know, man. I know how you are. I know how I am. What's my override when you write one of these? Oh, man, I don't know if I see it. I know if I comb through this, I'll probably find it somewhere. But, okay, well, so do you see how simple that is? That was really simple, right? And we're 12 o'clock. Now, what's fun is being able to do what if scenarios, like what would happen if. So if you guys got more time and want to hang with me, I'll take a few minutes and do some of that. So this will kind of, and this is what I'd invite you to do, kind of a exercise on your own, is do the, you know, play around with it. So now we got this is the F and G.
Wasn't the F and G showing 7% something and Columbus is showing 6 something? Is that a little bit more realistic, you think?
I don't know, man.
Or does it really matter?
It's just projections. You know, you can probably put in the interest rate that you want to put in here if you want.
Yeah,
but,
I didn't know if it really mattered or not, or what.
Well, I mean, it does matter. I mean, you can see, obviously it matters because you're showing lower amounts of cash value,
Right.
because you're being more conservative on the interest rate, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. Okay, so let's just go to none. So we have initial face amount. So let me show you, if you did 750,000 and the monthly, let's keep it at 750, okay? See what the illustration looks like. Now we use the same 9,000, but we amped up the death benefit. Oh, I didn't take the money out. Oops. Yeah, this is. Well, it shows 4,000. Oh, that was weird. Okay, so you see what happens? We took the money out, 48,000 a year, but it only lasts so long to age 79 because we pumped up the cost of insurance, okay, but it doesn't last as long. So we ought to drop the amount they take out so it'll last longer, but it's going to be lower. See what I'm saying? So let's take a look at the illustration and let's show you the target premium. Okay, so the target premium before is 8,000. And really the purpose of doing this is to show you how it affects target premium on what you get paid. Okay, so you see, they're putting $9,000 in, but the target premium is $10,477.50. So that's interesting. You would probably get paid on target, even though that's more than what they're putting in every year. But look what happened. You know, the client is getting, you know, it's going to crash. In other words, see, it's going to crash, and that's the effect. Now, what we would do is we would drop how much they're taking out. So that's $4,000 a month. Let's drop it down to 3,000 a month. Oops. Age 85. It's down to 0. Golly, come on, man. Work with me. And there's a way to easily calculate that. I'm doing it sort of the manual way. So calculate results. See if it does what we want it to do. There you go. So it goes all the way to the age 120. So we could probably took more money out. You know, so now you got kind of a good situation here where and then let's look at the target premium. No, you can't dump a bunch of money into an IUL because the IRS puts limits on how much you can put in every year. They try to smooth it out. When you try to overfund it way beyond what the IRS will allow, you can't just dump it in. You got to. So one of those. So Tim asked this. It's a good question. So let someone say someone has an inheritance. So what you want to do is you want to say put that money into a you know, an investment, and then draw from that a monthly amount for the premiums. There's ways to do it in a very tax advantage way. Okay, so this is that same illustration. Whoops. So 36,000. We probably could have taken more out. You know, again, I did it manually because they've got a ton of insurance here by the time they're 86. So maybe it's 40,000 a year. You know, maybe 40,000 a year. But let's look at the target premium. It's 10,000 again, 10,000 because we kept, you know, we kept the amount assurance 750,000. And yes, you would get paid more money, but it's a lower, you know, because you bumped up the death benefit. You see how that works? There's all kinds of scenarios I can go over, but we're going to be going over time. So anyway, fun with IULs. Anyone got any questions? I know I went a little bit long, but is it kind of just, are you clearing the way a little bit? So I don't know if Bruce, you still can ask that question you had for me.
Yeah, it just was about, so really all along the way, you're just replacing paying taxes to paying cost of insurance with the IUL. You're never, any of that money is pre-taxed. Say you're an employee and you take out money from deduction from your paycheck and put it into an IUL. You're not paying taxes there. You're never paying taxes. You're
No,
paying insurance.
no, you can't. You can't.
Right?
You cannot do that with insurance products. You could do that with an IRA, where you take the deduction. That's why the a Roth IRA. I mean, Roth IRA. There's a max you can put in every year, and that vehicle you can put money into it, avoiding taxes on both sides. But the IRS limits that. You have to pay it into an IUL with after-tax dollars.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So like that 72T rule where you can take out a measured amount per month of your 401k or an IRA. When you pull the money out to put into an IUL, you got to pay taxes on the amount that you pulled out because you didn't pay taxes when you put it in. So you pull it out, pay taxes, then put it in your IUL. Pull it out, pay taxes, put in your IUL. That's how you can transfer a tax-deferred money into an IUL and get, you know, obviously all the benefits in the future, which are going to blow away paying taxes if you kept it in that vehicle, right? So clearly,
Okay.
anyway.
All right.
Okay, so it might be a lot, and I know you're brand new, some of you. I just want to impress upon you that there is a smart way to configure these programs to be to everyone's benefit, okay? Particularly the client, first of all, and we can show them the benefit. They just can't think of this like, I got my statement, Alex, and it's only a year. I didn't hardly make any money. You got to get them out of that mentality, man. And the way you explain it to them is very simple. You don't go through this kind of detail with your client. Like the stuff I went through at the beginning, never, ever, ever explain IULs to them. Like that's for you, the agent, to understand, right? The illustration is what sells, okay? And you got to explain it properly. But it's not as intimidating. Once you start playing with the software, man, it's a lot of fun. It starts getting to be a lot of fun. And then we have all kinds of people that will help you if you've got a client interested. Obviously, Gina Hawks, you can get on her calendar and she'll explain everything to them, right? So, you know, and I'd be happy to as well. I've helped Vinod close his brother, and I also did one for that employee, Vinod's brother's employee, another doctor. So anyway, hope that made sense, man. And